Slide into your DMs. How much, if you don't mind me asking, how much do you make for a job? Is there any country or city you want to shoot in where you haven't been? You didn't have a job, didn't have any money, and you thought, let's go to Paris Fashion Week.
My family think it's just stupid wasting my time.
Definitely going to book you as my life.
Hello lovely beautiful people, and welcome to the second episode of Cayana's Curious Chats, where I'll be asking the juicy questions. Today I'm joined by Bushy, who works as an influencer and model, so let's see what he has to say. Hello Bushy.
Hey.
Can you introduce yourself please?
So I'm Bushy, I'm 26, I'm from South East London.
How are you today?
I'm very good actually, I'm in a very good mood today.
That's good, that's a good start. So my first question is, what exactly is it that you do? How do you earn your money?
So I model and do like influencing and social content like full time. So
did you start doing that right after school? Did you go to uni? Did you like?
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't go to uni. I started modeling when I was like 18.
I thought you were going to say 8.
no, when I was like 18. Apparently I've been getting approached since then, but I don't remember any of that stuff.
Oh really?
Yeah, just being young, and we hit up one of these guys who was like doing really well on Tumblr, and then he started letting us hang around with us. So he started bringing us to like fashion parties and stuff like that. So we started meeting people from there, and then we all just worked out what we wanted to do within the industry. So even them times I think I was just assisting like styling and jobs and just doing work, and I did a lot of internships, but it gave me contacts and it helped me build and understand what I wanted to do in the industry and how it was possible and what could be done, if you know what I mean. So
how do your cooperations go down? Say you mentioned Klein earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an agent? How does it work? How do they approach you?
Well, I have an agent, but I tend to just get a lot of DMs and then I'll just like forward them on to
From
my
Klein? Slide into your DMs?
Yeah, when I did the thing for Vogue, they just literally DM'd me and it was like, oh hey, we've got an idea.
Really?
And I was like, alright, cool. And then I was like, just forwarding them to my agency. I don't know, it's weird. I still find it weird. It's just mixed in. Because I think for me, I'm just me. Like in my head, I think I just I skate, I make music. I think I forget about all other things that are going on. Like,
but then you were like, oh, what? What? They want me? What do they
It
want?
was like, oh, what? Like, oh, okay.
Do you sometimes worry about the industry and that it's quite insecure, that someday no jobs might come in, or is that not really something you worry about?
It's not really something I worry about. I think, I don't know how to describe it. I just know, in a way I just know what I'm doing. I don't know how to describe it.
You know what you're doing?
In a way, yeah. I don't know how to describe it.
So you're quite calm, quite...
Yeah, because like, I'm getting more work than I ever, like now than I ever have before.
It's constantly increasing.
And I remember when I first started, there was like nothing and I just did it for free and all these other things, and I think I understand like how it works now and how it goes, and I don't really worry about things drying up like that, because I think especially now, I think there's a bigger need now than there was before.
Yeah, the industry's growing. So it's definitely what you're going to pursue in the future as well.
For now anyway, like I think one thing I've realised is like, I think vastly quicker than I expected that everything I do is starting to become like part of how I make money, which is a bit mind-boggling for me, but it's very interesting. Like even like skating, like as much as my mom or my family think it's a stupid waste of my time, I was like, okay, like, this is what I would do on my day off.
Now you're getting paid for it. Chill. Nice.
So, yeah.
You mentioned there that even if your mum thinks, to rephrase, even if your mum thinks it's a waste of time, what does your family think of you working as a model and making your money in that way?
I think they think it's very confusing because they don't understand how it's a real job. I think it just suits my personality. I'm a very chill, free person, so I've like
not 9 to 5
I've worked
office.
at offices before. I don't really think I have the attention time for it. Like, so.
That's fair. But do they ask questions? What do they say when they see the result of your work? Are they really proud?
I think they are proud. I think they just don't want me to get a big head at the same time, but I think they are proud. Nowadays anyway. I think at the beginning they're confused. It's like,
what are you doing,
like,
mate?
how are you going to eat? Like, how are you going to survive? Like,
talking about the industry, what do you think, from your perspective, are like the biggest misconceptions of the modelling industry? Is there anything that people think about it which is not at all like it? Is it glamorous? Is it the opposite?
It's not really glamorous, especially not at the beginning. Like, I don't know, it teaches you how to like depersonalize yourself. Not even in an unhealthy way. I think it gets more unhealthy when you stop doing well because I think that's when it starts getting into your head. But at the beginning stage of it, it teaches you that nothing about this stuff is like personal, like, and it's like any other job. Like if you don't have the CV,
Yeah.
you're not going to give you the job.
Yeah.
But if you do the work, they will give you the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're going to see the reason to employ you. You know what I mean? So I remember at the beginning, we had like eight castings a day.
So with the whole concept of depersonalizing it, do you tend to take stuff personally?
No, I don't. I think even in life now, not much really bothers me because I know it's not. No one's coming for me. I think a lot of people take things personally. It's like the person's not coming for me. It's not an attack at me. It's or it wasn't right for it, or it wasn't the right time, or was it in the right vibe on that day, or
that's such a healthy attitude.
It's the reality of it. It's like
you make it sound so easy. I feel like it's something that you really have to internalize because, especially when your work is basically your appearance, it is so difficult to at the same time keep it separate because it's not you, but at the same time it's everything about you, you know?
Yeah.
So what I'm wondering, industry-wise, would you say or can you say if there's quite the difference between the female model industry and the male model industry? Because obviously there's this huge issue in the female industry which we're quite aware of eating disorders, ladies being sexualized for their bodies and everything, which is quite problematic. Do you think the same issues apply to the male industry?
Not really. I think there's a lot less pressure, I think, being like a male, because I think they like pick a bit more specifically, and I think within the women industry as well, I think it's a lot harder to make friends. I feel like it's a lot easier to feel isolated, and I feel like there's a lot of pressure from agents, because I think whereas like a guy, where like agents are quite nice to you, I think with girls it's not the same thing. Like, what's wrong with you? Why you've not been like doing this or whatever? So I feel like it's different within relationships and the pressure. But also I think there's more money involved, which I think makes things more stressful as well.
More money in the female industry.
Yeah.
Is the pressure on body image, can you transfer it to the male industry?
Yeah, I think so to an extent, but I think it depends on what you're doing and where you are, I think, in your career as well. Because I feel like they don't really care about how ripped you are, I think, until like a bit more later in your career as a guy. Whereas I think as a girl, I think you're always expected to keep the same sizes and maintain the same level. And I think, especially with like hormones and different things, there's a lot going on. It's very hard to keep
maintain
the same things. So.
Yeah. And also what you mentioned earlier about you not taking it too seriously personally, when you don't get a job, when you just say, well, it's just not me, I'm not the right fit. I think what women tend to do is, because society makes them, I think, make it their own problem.
Yeah,
it's me, it is personal, it is because I am not tall enough, it's because I am not thin enough. And I feel like men might have a bit more of a relaxed kind of, it was meant to be, or like the next one will be fine. Do you think that's...
I think that's the thing as well.
I know that you've worked with Klein, that you've worked with Vogue, correct me if I'm wrong, Reebok, you've done stuff for Converse, for Superdry. What has been your favourite collaboration so far? What have you enjoyed the most, or what was a bit like, oh my god, this is a dream come true?
I think it's the first time I flew somewhere for a shoot. My mind was just so confused. I was like,
where do you remember where you flew?
Yeah, I think it was when I went to Sweden. Yeah, and I remember at the time I was so broke as well. So like when it came, I was like, so I've gone from being broke and like being really stressed to being in a hotel in Sweden, and everything's paid for. My mind was just stressing. I just couldn't like get over it, and it was so much fun, and like we didn't have that much to do. I think we had like one shot to do, like one look, and then we got to like chill a lot the rest of the time. And then they like took us to like the H&M office on the last day before going back to the airport. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I was like, this can't be. In my head, I was like, this can't be real, man. So. And
how much, if you don't mind me asking, how much do you make for a job? Is there?
It depends. And it varies. Like it just depends and varies. Like I think sometimes with e-commerce, you can be like around 500 for like the day or like the half day, depending on the company and what they have. $1,000 or whatever, but it's still not as much as it was
What is your dream collaboration? What would be your dream job? You've been to Paris Fashion Week, haven't you?
Yeah.
Tell me about your dream job and then let's talk about Paris Fashion Week.
So it's something chilled and like funny. I don't know. I want to do like do fun things now. 'Cause
Yeah.
I feel like I've done the other stuff, which is it's not that it's not fun, but it's like ultimately it's like the nice fun days. It's like.
Is there any country or city you want to shoot in where you haven't been?
I would love to go back to New York.
Tell me about Paris Fashion Week. I think that's quite the story. What happened there, and yeah,
Well,
let us know.
I think I was like at a point where I was like getting ready to like not give up, but I think this was getting very like long and like stressful.
When was that?
This was like I think this was about 2016 or 2017. It was around that time, I think.
Rather the beginning of your career.
Yeah, right at the beginning of my career, yeah. I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. I was like, I don't really feel like I work that well in like this market. So like I think, and that was like doing quite well in Paris. So I was like, oh, like let me take a gamble. I like used the last of my money to like get a coach, and I was like, I'm gonna go see what I can do. And like I know I've got a friend there that I can hopefully stay with, so I hit him up and.
Literally took the last of your money to decide to go to Paris Fashion Week.
You know, I can try and make something happen. Yeah, so.
What did you hope to get out of it?
I don't know, like learn something, meet some people maybe, and like in my head the original plan was like to really like create a network there where I can keep going back and whatnot. I didn't expect it to be as influential as it was, if you know what I mean.
So you can continue with your story in a second, but I'm just trying to imagine it because obviously Paris is a huge city and you don't go to Fashion Week as in it's one spot. What was your destination? You just thought I'd turn up in Paris and...
Well, I knew some people that would be there, so I knew, and also my friend being from there, so I knew there was some shows I can go and watch, and some parties to go to and meet some people.
And just socialise.
And socialise and hope for the best. And
Fair.
like I think I'd heard of like a story prior, me being like still quite young, and, like adventurous and like quite
naive,
naive, yeah.
But it seems like it worked out. So what happened? You arrived in Paris.
And I got like a DM from a cast director for a brand for a show, like a presentation for like with Benjamin, and then.
So he just saw you in Paris and
I saw in Paris, DM me and was like, oh, would you be down to do the show? And I was like, yeah, cool.
Sure.
Did the show, made some money because I had no money. It was very odd because I really don't know what I thought I was gonna like do out there really.
I could
really
never,
didn't stick this through, but
I feel like you need to take risks like that to be successful.
I think you do. I'm not gonna lie, because I think because like in the day, like the worst that happens is you fail in it and you learn from the failure.
Yeah, get back up.
You get back up and you do something better, or you learn. Okay, maybe I'm gonna prepare a bit more next time.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah,
okay, so you got to the show, you did the show, and then
like there was a guy working with ID there, and he like moved me from the back to like, the front, and he took a photo of me, and he put that on the ID page, and then my face just went loads of different places from there, and then I just started getting bare jobs, like bare brands and things like that. And it's not even into after the show I saw my face was on there, because I had to stand there for 5 hours, like standing still and not moving, and so I didn't really notice until after the show, and like from there I think nothing's really been the same really.
That was the kickstart.
Yeah, and then I ended up getting like signed to the agency I wanted
because
to
of that
go
picture, the agency.
Well, because of the shows really, because they was like, was you able to do this by yourself? Like this doesn't make sense. So
Do you think that's luck, or do you think that's a good mixture of your bravery and your will and all that, or do you think it's just a bit of luck involved as well?
Well, I don't believe in luck. I think luck is like preparation for situation.
Right.
So I think I'd done a certain amount of shoots beforehand, and I had a certain amount of prep, and I had a certain amount of contacts, even within London. I think that helped with me going to Paris. So I think it was just right. It was just one of those situations. It was the right time, right place. I think if I'd waited to do it the next season, it probably wouldn't have worked the same. It was just that time. It just happened to work. You know what I mean? So
fascinating. In those moments, and when you model for Calvin Klein or whatever, do you feel like a bit of a celebrity, or are you just like, what the hell's going on? Or do you feel a bit like, oh, okay, yeah.
I think the only times that I really feel like that, I think, is like when I feel like it's like a work party or something. I feel like I have to be a bit more of a character then, because that I'm there for like a reason. Because sometimes I do like brand things where like I'll get like paid to be a party, which is weird. But like,
you are living the life, mate.
Pay me to come to party. And then so it'd always be weird, and I'll be really confused of why I'm there. Like not like that, but in my head it's just still a bit like
it's processing.
Yeah. So
what do you think is the key to success? Because obviously you sound so relaxed with everything that you're doing, and it just seems to be going upwards for you. Do you think there's a key to success? There's a secret that you are?
I think it's perseverance, isn't it? Because even like in the darkest times, I always saw it as it's gonna get better. It's not gonna get better all the time. Like every time I'm like broke or I have like a month and it's like what's going on, as long as I know money's coming in, like what am I worrying about? Like my life could be a lot worse. Like I can walk, I've got good health, and I think in those moments it's got to think and like think about what more I can do or what I can do better.
So it seems like it's quite you focused. I'm okay. What can I do better? Not so much projecting onto the world around you. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's good. Sounds so good. Can you be my life coach?
You can try.
Okay. This one is similar to the one before, but how would you say you deal with failure or rejection? Do you ever feel like a failure? Do you ever feel disappointed in yourself? And if so, how do you deal with it?
To be honest, I used to feel like that a lot, but then I just changed my perception of what I think makes me a failure and what doesn't. Because I think
what does make you a failure and what doesn't? I
think not trying, like giving up. Because I think a lot of people attribute success to like money and fame and things, and these things they always like come and go. But I think what makes you successful is knowing like the things you've done, the things you can do, and the things you'll do in the future.
And do you not, by the sounds of it, you don't ever feel sad about rejection or take a person or get upset?
I have done, but it's very I think it's very momentaneous. Like I'll be probably feel like for 10 minutes or
really?
an hour.
10 minutes? That's
10 minutes
so
or an
good.
Hour, or because I try and let the emotion be what it is, and
yes.
I'm not gonna say I don't have things that I get annoyed about or that I don't have my own battles, but I'm aware that you know what, I'm trying well. I think especially over the past couple of years, I've just trying not to beat myself up.
Definitely gonna book you as my life coach. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Bushy, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, please remember to subscribe to my channel, comment down below and like the video, and let me know in the comments who you'd like me to chat to next. Bye!